Hello, friends. If you're curious about the movie Under the Same Moon from 2007, you're in the perfect place. Don't forget to give this video a quick like, it really helps us out. And if you're new here, hit subscribe to stay updated on all the latest movie deep dives. Let's jump right in. There's something quietly compelling about stories that unravel across borders, about the invisible threads that bind families torn apart by distance and circumstance. This particular tale opens its arms to the immigrant experience, but it's not just about the harshness of the journey or the grind of survival. It's a tender exploration of hope, sacrifice, and the unyielding bond between a mother and her son. It's a story that pulses with the kind of emotional resonance that lingers long after the credits roll, whispering the truth that love doesn't abide by lines drawn on maps. We are invited into the life of a young boy, no more than 9 years old, who lives in Mexico with his grandmother. His mother has crossed into the United States in search of a better life, a decision born not of selfishness but of desperate love and courage. From the very first moments, the film's atmosphere is thick with yearning, the quiet ache of separation made palpable through the boy's hopeful eyes and the worn-out phone calls that tether his world to hers. You can feel the tension in the silence between their conversations, the weight of unsaid things carried by every pause. The boy's name is Carlitos, and his innocence serves as the perfect lens through which the audience experiences a world both beautiful and brutal. His days are marked by small acts of survival and tender moments of childhood wonder, but there is always that undercurrent of urgency. His mother's promise that they will one day be reunited, a promise he clings to with the fierce conviction of a child who believes in miracles. This is no easy journey. The film paints a vivid portrait of the immigrant struggle, but never allows itself to be swallowed whole by tragedy. Instead, it balances hardship with hope, despair with the resilience that lives inside every human heart. What makes this story so gripping is the way it straddles two worlds, the bustling, often unforgiving streets of a sprawling American city, and the dusty, sun-soaked town in Mexico where Carlitos waits. The film uses these contrasting settings not just as backdrops but as emotional landscapes, embodying the distance between mother and son, the chasm of time and space they must cross. There is a sense of urgency in every frame, an unspoken race against fate that pulls you deeper and deeper into the narrative. As Carlitos begins his own journey north, the film shifts into a pulse-quickening adventure, a cross-country odyssey that is as much about discovering the strength inside oneself as it is about physical survival. Along the way, he encounters characters who embody different facets of humanity: the kindness of strangers, the harshness of prejudice, the quiet courage of those who live on the fringes. Each interaction adds layers to his character and raises the stakes of his journey, reminding the audience that this is not merely a story about immigration but a universal tale of hope, perseverance, and the search for belonging. The narrative never shies away from the complexities of the situation, the dangers that Carlitos faces, the sacrifices made by those who help him, and the emotional toll on his mother, who works tirelessly to build a future while longing for the son she left behind. There are moments of heart-wrenching tension, where the threat of discovery or harm looms large, and moments of quiet reflection that allow the characters to breathe and reveal their inner worlds. One of the most compelling aspects of this story is how it weaves these personal struggles with broader social realities. The film doesn't just tell a story of two people, it tells the story of millions, capturing the essence of what it means to be uprooted, to chase a dream that often seems just out of reach. It speaks to the courage required to cross borders, both literal and metaphorical, and the human cost of those crossings. But despite the weight of its themes, the film retains a warmth and tenderness that keeps the viewer connected to its characters. The mother's voice over the phone, soft and full of longing, becomes a lifeline, a beacon of hope in the darkness. Carlitos's determination and innocence remind us of the power of love to transcend hardship. Their bond is the heart of the story, a fragile but unbreakable thread that holds everything together. As the boy's journey unfolds, the tension builds with each step closer to the elusive promise of reunion. There are unexpected allies and dangerous adversaries, moments where it seems all hope might be lost, and others where courage shines brightest. The film's pacing mirrors this emotional roller coaster, sweeping the audience along with a rhythm that feels urgent and intimate all at once. The climax offers a powerful, poignant convergence of all these threads: hope, fear, resilience, and love, without resorting to easy answers or melodrama. Instead, it presents a moment of quiet truth, a reminder that sometimes the greatest journeys are the ones taken not on the road, but inside the heart. There is a sense of realism and authenticity throughout, achieved not only through the performances but through the careful attention to detail in the environments, the way the camera lingers on moments of stillness or bursts into motion during moments of crisis. The film respects the intelligence and emotions of its audience, inviting us to feel deeply rather than telling us what to think or feel. Major twists emerge subtly, born out of the unpredictable nature of Carlitos' journey rather than contrived plot devices. The surprises feel earned, each one a reflection of the precariousness of the immigrant experience. The tension of being caught, the kindness of strangers who risk everything, the internal battles the characters face, all culminate in moments that resonate far beyond the screen. Yet, even as danger and uncertainty shadow Carlitos, there's a persistent lightness woven through the narrative. The humor, the innocence of childhood, the unexpected friendships that bloom like wildflowers in a harsh landscape. These moments of levity remind us that life, even in its most challenging forms, is still filled with beauty and possibility. Throughout the story, the emotional landscape shifts seamlessly, from quiet longing to exhilarating adventure, from the pangs of separation to the warmth of connection. This ebb and flow draws the viewer into a living, breathing world where every small victory and setback carries enormous emotional weight. Ultimately, the journey is about more than just reaching a physical destination. It is about the courage to hold on to hope when all odds seem stacked against you, the power of love to bridge impossible divides, and the unbreakable ties that define us. The story refuses to offer easy closure, instead embracing the complexities of real life, the joys and sorrows intertwined in every family separated by circumstance but united by love. In the end, it leaves the audience with a profound sense of empathy and reflection. We come away not just having witnessed a tale of immigration and separation, but having felt the pulse of a boy's heart, the quiet strength of a mother's love, and the enduring hope that, no matter how far apart, they are forever under the same moon. The story begins in a small, sun-drenched town in Mexico, where the world seems paused in moments of warmth and quiet desperation. There, under the steady gaze of a relentless sun, lives a young boy named Carlitos, a child of 9 with eyes full of innocence but heavy with longing. His small world is marked by the soft rhythms of everyday life, the laughter of his friends, the gentle hands of his grandmother, and the distant, flickering voice of his mother on a cracked payphone. His mother's presence is felt more in absence than in reality, her sacrifices woven into the fabric of his days through the rare but treasured phone calls they share. Every ring brings a brief burst of joy, a tether stretching across borders, but also a pang, a reminder of how far they are from one another. His mother, Rosario, has crossed into the United States, chasing a dream for them both. Her hope is simple yet immense: to build a better life, to save enough money to bring her son to her side. The story's heartbeat is anchored in this fragile hope, the promise of reunion shimmering just beyond the horizon. But life on either side of that border is anything but simple. Rosario's days are filled with hard labor in a restaurant, navigating the shadows and the uncertainties that come with living as an undocumented immigrant. Yet, she carries the weight of her dreams lightly, her love for Carlitos a constant flame, even when exhaustion pulls at her bones. Meanwhile, Carlitos' life with his grandmother offers a bittersweet mixture of love and loss. His grandmother is a pillar of strength, her hands worn from years of toil, yet she's a gentle guardian of Carlitos' childhood. Their home is modest but filled with tenderness, a sanctuary amid the challenges that surround them. Still, the absence of his mother leaves a void, and Carlitos' young mind clings to the stories his mother tells him over the phone. Stories of a land where the streets are paved with opportunity, where their lives can be different. These stories fuel a spark within him, a restless hope that refuses to be extinguished. But as days pass, that hope begins to take shape into a plan. Carlitos overhears conversations and senses the growing tension in his family. His mother's letters and calls becoming less frequent, the financial strain deepening. He becomes painfully aware that the fragile bridge connecting them is at risk of collapse. The yearning to be reunited grows unbearable, and a daring idea begins to form in his young heart. Against the advice of his grandmother, he decides to embark on the perilous journey north, across the border that separates him from the mother he hasn't seen in years but loves fiercely. His departure is quiet and hurried, a small boy stepping into a world far bigger and far more dangerous than the one he has ever known. The film captures this moment with a kind of solemn reverence, the innocence of a child about to confront the harsh realities of survival on his own. As he steps away from the dusty streets of his hometown, the camera lingers on his face, reflecting a mix of determination, fear, and hope. The journey itself unfolds as an odyssey of both external challenges and internal growth. Carlitos's first steps into the unknown bring immediate obstacles. The vastness of the landscape, the unfamiliar sounds and faces, the shadow of danger lurking around every corner, all threaten to overwhelm him. Yet, even in these early moments, his spirit refuses to break. His resourcefulness shines through small, clever acts, hiding when necessary, slipping past guards, and finding shelter wherever he can. Each trial strengthens his resolve, the love for his mother propelling him forward through the unknown. Along the way, he meets people who reveal the spectrum of human kindness and cruelty. One of the earliest encounters is with a man who offers help but with conditions that unsettle the boy, a reminder of the precariousness of trusting strangers. There's a tension in these interactions, a delicate dance between hope and caution, survival and vulnerability. Yet, Carlitos's innocence sometimes disarms even the most hardened souls, and in moments of unexpected generosity, the film shows the fragile bonds that can form in the most unlikely places. His journey is punctuated by brief moments of joy, a small kindness here, a shared meal there. Moments that flicker like stars in a vast night sky. These interludes offer a counterpoint to the harshness of the road and deepen our connection to Carlitos, who remains a child at heart despite the burdens he carries. His laughter, his wide-eyed wonder at the simplest things, remind us that even in hardship, life can hold sparks of light. As he moves closer to the border, the film tightens its focus on the immense dangers that await. Carlitos navigates through the maze of smugglers and checkpoints, encounters that escalate the stakes with every step. The tension is palpable. There's a constant undercurrent of threat that never lets the viewer forget the real risks involved. The filmmakers are careful not to sensationalize these moments, but to present them with a gritty realism that honors the countless untold stories of those who make similar journeys. Meanwhile, back in the United States, Rosario's world is growing more complicated. The financial pressures mount, and the emotional toll of separation weighs heavily on her. She faces challenges at work, moments of loneliness, and the constant fear of being discovered. Yet, her determination remains unshaken. Her love for Carlitos is a source of strength, and the film uses her storyline to show the often unseen sacrifices made by immigrants striving for a better life. The contrast between her struggles and her unwavering hope adds emotional depth, reminding the audience that the journey is never just about one person. It's a shared story of family, sacrifice, and resilience. As Carlitos presses forward, the film introduces moments that deepen the emotional complexity. There are instances where his youthful optimism clashes with the harsh realities, forcing him to confront his own vulnerability. One such moment comes when he falls ill, a scene that lays bare the fragility of his situation and the stakes of his quest. This moment is not just about physical survival, it's a profound emotional trial, a test of his spirit. Yet, even in sickness, Carlitos's resolve shines through. The audience is drawn into his inner world, his fears, his dreams, the small acts of courage that define him. His illness becomes a powerful metaphor for the vulnerability inherent in all who undertake such journeys, but also for the resilience that pushes them onward. Alongside these trials, the film continues to explore the theme of connection. Carlitos's interactions with other migrants and travelers highlight the communal nature of the journey. There's a sense of shared purpose, of solidarity born out of shared hardship. These moments bring warmth and humanity to a story that could easily have become weighed down by despair. Instead, they underscore the strength found in collective endurance. One of the most poignant relationships that begins to take shape is between Carlitos and a young woman he meets on the road. Their bond is subtle but deeply moving, two lost souls finding companionship in a world that often seems indifferent to their plight. Through their quiet moments together, the film offers a glimpse of hope and healing, a reminder that even amidst struggle, human connection can be a lifeline. As the journey continues, the tension mounts. Carlitos's proximity to the border is both thrilling and terrifying. The film's pacing mirrors the crescendo of emotions, the quickening heartbeat of a child on the cusp of a new world, the looming shadow of danger just out of sight. The audience is swept along with him, breathless with anticipation and dread. At this point, the narrative also deepens its exploration of the emotional landscape. Carlitos's memories of his mother, their conversations, and the promises they share become increasingly vivid. These flashbacks are not mere nostalgia, they are the emotional fuel that drives the story forward. The mother's voice on the phone, soft and full of longing, echoes through the scenes, a constant reminder of the love that sustains him. Meanwhile, Rosario's own story gains new layers. Her struggle to maintain hope and strength in the face of isolation and uncertainty is portrayed with quiet dignity. The film uses her character to examine the duality of the immigrant experience, the dreams that push forward and the sacrifices that come with them. Her perseverance becomes a silent anthem running parallel to her son's journey, their stories intertwined by love and unspoken promises. The first half of this journey is a masterclass in building tension through emotional depth rather than spectacle. The film doesn't rush. It savors moments of stillness and reflection, allowing the audience to immerse themselves fully in Carlitos's world. The pacing is deliberate, echoing the slow unfolding of a child's understanding of a complicated and often cruel world. There's an almost poetic quality to the way the film captures the small details, the texture of the earth beneath Carlitos's feet, the changing light as day gives way to night, the sounds of the bustling cities and quiet villages. These sensory details root the story in a tangible reality, making Carlitos's journey all the more immediate and visceral. The story also embraces the unpredictability of such a journey. Plans are upended, new obstacles arise, and the future remains uncertain. This uncertainty is a constant presence, heightening the emotional stakes and underscoring the precariousness of hope in a world rife with barriers. Yet through it all, Carlitos's spirit endures. His bravery is quiet but powerful, a testament to the resilience that lies within even the smallest hearts. His journey is a testament to the universal longing for family and belonging, a narrative that transcends borders and cultures. As the first part of the journey draws to a close, the tension is at its peak. Carlitos has come so far, faced so much, and yet the greatest challenges still lie ahead. The border looms large, a symbol of the final barrier between him and the life he dreams of with his mother. The film leaves us on the edge of this threshold, hearts pounding, eyes wide with anticipation. It is a place of both hope and danger, where the line between triumph and tragedy is razor thin. The story holds its breath here, capturing the fragile balance of faith and fear that defines so many lives caught in between worlds. And in this moment, we are reminded once again of the enduring power of love, the invisible thread that pulls a boy across a continent, the silent strength that carries a mother through every hardship. Their bond, fragile yet unbreakable, is the true heart of the story, a beacon shining through the darkness, guiding them both toward a future still uncertain but filled with possibility. The journey's momentum carries forward with a mix of tension and tenderness, the stakes mounting as the boy edges ever closer to the place where two worlds converge. The border isn't just a physical line, it's a threshold loaded with meaning, danger, and the promise of reunion. Every step now seems heavier, each breath more charged with anticipation and fear. The road behind him is marked by small victories and harsh setbacks, but ahead lies the unknown, the final and most daunting stretch. As he nears the sprawling, complex landscape of the city where his mother works, the atmosphere shifts. The vibrant yet unforgiving pulse of urban life crashes against his small frame. The streets are crowded, noisy, and filled with faces he doesn't recognize. some kind, some indifferent, others with motives harder to read. The city feels like a living beast, simultaneously overwhelming and alive with possibility. He moves cautiously, acutely aware that any misstep could mean the end of his dream. It is here that the story's emotional core becomes even more palpable. The boy's innocence, so fierce and fragile, is put to the test amid the concrete maze. The camera lingers on his wide eyes as he navigates this unfamiliar terrain, the bustling markets, the crowded buses, the shadowed alleys. His small size makes him nearly invisible, yet it also exposes him to greater vulnerability. The film masterfully balances this vulnerability with moments of remarkable bravery, a child forced to grow up too fast but refusing to surrender his hope. Along the way, new faces enter the narrative, each one shaping the boy's journey in unexpected ways. One of these figures is a woman who works in a small diner, a place bustling with the quiet grind of daily labor and fleeting dreams. She becomes a reluctant guardian of sorts, offering help wrapped in guarded kindness. Her presence introduces a layer of complexity, the idea that help often comes with conditions and that kindness is sometimes tempered by self-preservation. Their relationship, though brief, is deeply human, a snapshot of the complicated connections that form between strangers thrown together by circumstance. As the boy continues to search for his mother, the film deftly intertwines moments of hope with escalating peril. The threat of being caught by immigration authorities or falling into the hands of unscrupulous people hangs over every scene like a shadow. The tension tightens around him, and the viewer is drawn into a visceral experience of fear and urgency. Yet, it's never just about the physical dangers. The emotional toll is equally vivid. The crushing loneliness, the gnawing hunger for connection, the weight of exhaustion pressing down like a relentless storm. Meanwhile, scenes shift to the mother's world, where her life remains a mixture of hardship and quiet resilience. Her work in a bustling restaurant is depicted with gritty realism. The relentless pace, the exploitation she faces, and the fragile networks of support among fellow immigrants. Her longing for her son is a constant undercurrent, expressed not just in words but in the small moments, a glance at a worn photograph, a whispered prayer, the careful counting of days and dollars. Her strength and vulnerability coexist in a delicate balance, drawing the viewer into her interior landscape. The film uses their parallel stories to deepen the emotional impact. Though separated by miles and circumstance, their lives mirror each other in the profound sacrifices they make and the hope that sustains them. Their love is a silent song running beneath every scene, an invisible thread weaving through their separate worlds. It is a love that defies distance and danger, unbroken even by the harshest obstacles. The boy's journey crescendos into a series of harrowing episodes, moments where luck and desperation collide. One such episode unfolds when he narrowly escapes a group of men whose intentions are far from kind. The fear in his eyes, the frantic scramble to safety, is captured with raw intensity, bringing the audience into the immediacy of his peril. These scenes are heart-stopping, but never gratuitous. They serve to underscore the fragile line between survival and tragedy. Amid these dangers, moments of unexpected grace appear. A kind-hearted cab driver, a group of migrant workers sharing food and stories. These fleeting acts of generosity are portrayed as beacons of light in a dark landscape. They remind us that even in the toughest circumstances, humanity persists. The boy's encounters with these strangers are brief but transformative, offering glimmers of hope that sustain him through the darkest hours. As he draws nearer to his mother's world, the narrative tension builds toward a pivotal moment, a point where all the threads of his journey converge. The film doesn't rush this moment but instead savors the emotional build-up. Every glance, every hesitation, every step is laden with meaning. The reunion he has dreamed of becomes a tangible possibility, but it is also fraught with uncertainty and risk. When they finally come face to face, the scene is charged with a mix of joy, relief, and the bittersweet reality of their circumstances. The embrace is long and trembling, a silent acknowledgment of all the time lost and the hardships endured. But even in this moment of reunion, the film does not shy away from the complex emotions that accompany it. The lingering fear, the awareness that their future remains uncertain, the weight of sacrifices yet to come. The climax is not a dramatic spectacle but an intimate, powerful exchange between mother and son. It captures the depth of their bond without words, conveying volumes through touch, tears, and lingering glances. The camera holds on them as if reluctant to break the spell, allowing the audience to feel the full weight of their reunion. But the story's resolution refuses easy closure. The challenges that brought them together have not simply vanished, they remain a part of their reality. The film embraces this ambiguity, reflecting the true nature of such journeys, marked by hope but shadowed by ongoing struggle. The final scenes are a testament to resilience, love, and the uncertain beauty of life lived between worlds. In these closing moments, the mother's and son's stories merge into a shared future, fragile but filled with possibility. The film leaves us with a lingering sense of empathy and reflection, a reminder that every journey, no matter how arduous, is propelled by the deepest human need, to belong, to be loved, to find home. The story's lasting impact comes not from grand gestures or dramatic twists but from its quiet honesty and emotional depth. It invites us to walk alongside a boy whose courage illuminates the darkest paths and a mother whose love bridges impossible distances. Their journey is a testament to the enduring power of hope, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bonds that define us all. In this story, the heart beats strongest through its characters, each one carefully drawn, their lives and emotions unfolding with a raw, almost fragile honesty that lingers in the air like the faint scent of earth after rain. At the center stands a boy, whose innocence and determination create a world within a world, a small universe where love and hope exist in fierce defiance of the hardships that surround him. His story is not just that of a child on a journey. It is a profound meditation on resilience, courage, and the complexities of growing up too fast. The boy's name is Carlitos, and from the moment he appears on screen, he embodies a purity of spirit that is both heartwarming and heartrending. His wide, curious eyes are windows into a soul too young to carry the burdens he bears, yet strong enough to confront them. There is a palpable vulnerability in the way he moves through the world, hesitant yet brave, frightened yet undeterred. Carlitos is not simply a symbol of lost innocence. He is a fully realized character whose emotions ripple with authenticity. What makes him so compelling is the way his childlike wonder is juxtaposed with the brutal realities he faces. The story never shields him from danger or despair, but it also never lets those forces define him. Instead, it reveals the tender layers beneath, the moments when he laughs with friends, when he clings to memories of his mother, when he finds strength in small acts of kindness. Carlitos's journey is as much internal as it is physical, a passage from innocence to experience marked by the quiet heroism of simply surviving. His relationship with his mother forms the emotional axis around which everything else revolves. She is a figure both distant and luminous, present in his thoughts, his dreams, and his every step. Though she is separated from him by miles and circumstances, her love shapes his world in profound ways. She represents hope and sacrifice in equal measure, a woman who has left everything behind to give her son a chance at a better life. Her strength is quiet but unyielding, her dreams etched into the lines of her face and the determination in her eyes. Rosario, the mother, is a portrait of endurance wrapped in tenderness. Her life in a foreign land is fraught with challenges, exhausting work, constant fear, the loneliness of separation, but she carries these burdens with a grace that is both inspiring and deeply human. She is not a heroine in the traditional sense. She doesn't conquer obstacles with grand gestures. Instead, her courage is woven into the everyday moments, the steady rhythms of labor, the stolen phone calls filled with whispered promises, the silent prayers for her son's safety. What stands out about her character is the way she embodies the contradictions of the immigrant experience, the tension between hope and despair, strength and vulnerability, love and sacrifice. Rosario's love is a force that transcends physical presence, a beacon that guides Carlitos even when they are worlds apart. Her story is a testament to the quiet power of motherhood, the way it can sustain and uplift even when circumstances threaten to unravel everything. Beyond this central bond, the film introduces a cast of characters who add texture and depth to the narrative, each one reflecting different facets of the world Carlitos navigates. There is the grandmother, a figure rooted in tradition and the enduring ties of family. Her presence offers a protective warmth, a reminder of home and the past even as the future pulls the boy away. She carries her own sorrow and hope, her love for Carlitos a steady force amidst uncertainty. Then there are the strangers Carlitos encounters on his journey, figures who embody the complex spectrum of human nature. Some are harsh and self-serving, a reflection of the dangers lurking in the shadows. Others reveal unexpected kindness, their small acts of generosity shining like beacons in a landscape often marked by cruelty. These characters are not mere plot devices but fully fleshed individuals whose interactions with Carlitos illuminate the themes of trust, compassion, and survival. One particularly striking relationship is with a young woman who appears as a fleeting but meaningful presence on the road. Their bond is subtle, charged with the unspoken understanding of shared hardship and quiet companionship. Through her, the story explores themes of connection and resilience, showing how human ties can provide solace and strength even in the bleakest circumstances. The cab driver, another key figure, is portrayed with layers of complexity, a man whose initial reluctance gives way to genuine concern. His character embodies the ambivalence many feel towards those who struggle to cross borders. He is wary but ultimately moved by the boy's plight. This encounter underscores the film's nuanced approach to its characters, refusing simple categorization and instead presenting a mosaic of human responses. Throughout the narrative, the characters' interactions reveal the delicate balance between vulnerability and strength. Each person Carlitos meets leaves an imprint, shaping his journey and reflecting the wider world's contradictions, where kindness and cruelty coexist, where hope flickers amid despair. The film's strength lies in its refusal to reduce its characters to stereotypes, instead inviting the audience to see their full humanity. Even the antagonistic forces in the story are portrayed with a sense of realism rather than caricature. The dangers that Carlitos faces, whether from smugglers, authorities, or indifferent passers-by, are not simply obstacles but manifestations of the harsh realities that millions endure. These figures are shadowy and threatening, but the film doesn't demonize them outright. It acknowledges the complex systems and circumstances that give rise to such dangers. This layered portrayal extends to the setting itself, which becomes almost a character in its own right. The environments Carlitos moves through, the dusty Mexican town, the crowded border crossings, the sprawling urban maze, are imbued with emotional resonance. They mirror the characters' inner journeys, their struggles and hopes, their isolation and connection. The film's subtle exploration of identity is reflected in its characters' stories. Carlitos, caught between childhood and the harsh demands of survival, embodies a liminal space, a place between worlds, cultures, and expectations. His mother's journey mirrors this tension, navigating the complexities of assimilation and belonging while holding on to her roots. Their stories invite reflection on what it means to belong, to carry a sense of home within oneself even when physically displaced. In this way, the characters become vessels for universal themes: the search for safety, the desire for connection, the resilience of the human spirit. Their struggles and triumphs resonate because they are grounded in authenticity, portrayed with sensitivity and care. The film invites us not just to witness their journeys but to feel them deeply, to inhabit their hopes and fears as if they were our own. The emotional arc of the boy is especially poignant because it is marked by growth without loss of essence. He does not become hardened or cynical. Rather, his experiences deepen his understanding of the world and his place within it. His innocence is not erased but transformed, shaped by the realities he must face yet preserved in his capacity for hope and love. Rosario's character arc parallels this transformation. Though separated by distance, her strength and vulnerability echo in her son's journey. Her sacrifices and dreams are the silent engine driving the narrative forward, a reminder that behind every immigrant story is a deeply personal tale of love and loss. The grandmother, too, carries her own narrative weight, a symbol of continuity and memory, of the roots that hold a family together even as its branches reach toward new horizons. Her quiet presence grounds the story, a touchstone of warmth and tradition in a world of change and uncertainty. The supporting characters enrich the narrative tapestry, their lives intersecting with Carlitos's in ways that highlight the complexities of human connection. They remind us that no journey is taken alone, that even the most solitary paths are marked by the echoes of others' lives. In the interplay between these characters, the film captures the fragile beauty of shared humanity. Each relationship, whether fleeting or lasting, reveals a facet of love and survival, of trust and fear, of sacrifice and hope. The story's power lies in these human moments, the stolen smiles, the whispered reassurances, the small acts of courage that ripple outward. The characters' emotions are conveyed not just through dialogue but through gesture, expression, and silence. The film's visual language allows us to see beyond words into the unspoken depths of their hearts. A glance between mother and son, the tightening of a hand, the hesitant step forward, all speak volumes about their inner worlds. This subtlety extends to the portrayal of hardship and resilience. The characters are not defined by their suffering but by how they respond to it. Their strength is not loud or boastful. It is quiet, persistent, woven into the fabric of everyday life. It is a reminder that courage often takes the form of endurance, that heroism can be found in the simple act of continuing to hope. The boy's journey is a testament to this kind of courage. His determination to find his mother, to reunite with the love that sustains him, is both heartbreaking and inspiring. He navigates a world that is often unkind with a bravery that transcends his years, his spirit refusing to be broken by fear or hardship. Rosario's sacrifices illuminate the film's exploration of motherhood as an unbreakable bond that transcends distance and time. Her life in exile is marked by loneliness and struggle, yet her love for her son infuses every moment with meaning. She is a portrait of quiet strength, a woman who bears the weight of separation with grace and resolve. Together, mother and son embody the film's central themes of love, sacrifice, and hope. Their story resonates because it is rooted in the universal desire for connection, the longing to be seen and held by those we love. It reminds us that family is not just defined by proximity but by the ties that bind us in heart and soul. The grandmother's presence adds depth to this family portrait, representing the ties to the past and the strength of tradition. Her care for Carlitos is a testament to the enduring power of family, a source of warmth and protection in a world of uncertainty. The film's supporting characters enrich the story's emotional texture, their lives intersecting with Carlitos's in ways that highlight the complexities of human nature. From the kindness of strangers to the dangers posed by those who exploit vulnerability, these encounters reveal the spectrum of human experience. Through its characters, the film explores the fragility and resilience of the human spirit. It invites us to see beyond stereotypes and statistics to the individual lives shaped by circumstance and choice. Each character is a story unto themselves, a reflection of the hopes, fears, and dreams that define us all. In the end, the film's characters linger in the mind not because of grand gestures or dramatic moments, but because of their quiet humanity. They are ordinary people caught in extraordinary circumstances, whose stories illuminate the profound beauty and complexity of life. The boy's journey, his mother's sacrifices, the grandmother's steadfast love, and the mosaic of supporting characters come together to create a tapestry of emotion and meaning. Their lives, marked by hardship and hope, remind us of the enduring power of love to bridge distances, heal wounds, and light the darkest paths. This is a story told not just with words, but with heart, where every glance, every touch, every silence speaks volumes about what it means to be human. And it is through its characters that the story's true magic unfolds, a testament to the resilience of the spirit and the unbreakable bonds that define us all. There is a quiet magic that swirls behind every film, a tapestry woven from the dreams, struggles, and surprises encountered during the long and often grueling process of bringing a story to life. In the case of this particular film, that magic reveals itself in curious and unexpected ways. Little details and odd moments that remain tucked away behind the polished final cut, whispering secrets of the journey from script to screen. These are the strangest facts, the tales from behind the camera that add layers of texture to the story we've come to know, inviting us to see the film not just as a finished work, but as a living, breathing creation shaped by chance and intention. One of the most fascinating aspects of the production lies in its commitment to authenticity, a choice that brought both rewards and unexpected challenges. The filmmakers, determined to capture the rawness of the immigrant experience, made the bold decision to shoot on location across both sides of the border. This meant navigating not only the practical difficulties of filming in bustling cities and small towns, but also the political and social complexities that surrounded these spaces. The production was constantly balancing the need for realism with concerns for safety and respect for the communities they portrayed. Shooting on the actual border and in real neighborhoods added a visceral texture to the film. Dust and heat that seeped into every frame, the sounds of daily life captured in ambient detail, the faces of locals who became part of the backdrop to Carlitos' journey. Yet this choice was not without its peculiar moments. The crew often found themselves caught between local celebrations and everyday hustle, a reminder that life goes on in all its chaos and beauty even as a film unfolds. One day, a traditional Mexican festival coincided with filming, filling the streets with music and dance, and for a time, the film's somber narrative was juxtaposed against the vibrant pulse of community celebration. The contrast created a strange but beautiful collision of worlds. Beyond location challenges, there were also surprising technical hurdles that shaped the film's aesthetic in unexpected ways. The director and cinematographer made a conscious decision to use natural light wherever possible, aiming for a verite style that would immerse viewers in the boy's perspective. This approach meant working around the shifting sun and unpredictable weather, turning every shoot into a delicate dance with nature. There were moments when sudden storms threatened to derail filming, forcing the crew to adapt on the fly. One particularly memorable scene had to be reshot multiple times because the changing light altered the mood too drastically, yet this struggle birthed an ethereal quality that heightened the emotional impact. An unusual tidbit from the production concerns the child actor who played Carlitos. The filmmakers cast a young boy with no prior acting experience, a decision driven by a desire to capture genuine innocence and spontaneity. This choice brought both joy and chaos to the set. The boy's natural reactions and unfiltered emotions became a cornerstone of the film's authenticity, but working with such a young, inexperienced actor required a patient, flexible approach. There were moments when he would wander off during takes, captivated by a stray dog or a passing butterfly, causing delays and laughter in equal measure. Yet these unscripted moments often found their way into the final cut, preserving the organic feel that makes the story so compelling. This same young actor formed a bond with a crew member who doubled as a kind of guardian and guide. Because of the emotional weight of the role and the demanding shooting schedule, it was important to have someone the boy trusted nearby. This behind-the-scenes relationship added a layer of tenderness to the production, a quiet reminder that the story of the film was mirrored by real human connections blossoming in its making. The film's language and dialogue also carry intriguing backstories. The filmmakers were committed to portraying both Spanish and English authentically, refusing to soften or sanitize the bilingual reality of many immigrant families. This meant that some scenes required delicate balancing acts during filming and post-production to ensure the emotional nuances weren't lost in translation. The actors often improvised lines in their native tongues, enriching the dialogue with idiomatic expressions and cultural references that deepened the story's resonance. Interestingly, the decision to include bilingual dialogue sparked some challenges during casting. Finding actors fluent in both languages who could deliver emotionally nuanced performances was no small feat. Many auditions took place in informal settings, with actors reading scenes from memory or improvising to capture the natural rhythms of conversation. This process added an element of unpredictability but ultimately resulted in performances that feel lived in and genuine. Another fascinating aspect lies in the film's music, which threads through the narrative like an emotional undercurrent. The soundtrack blends traditional Mexican folk melodies with subtle modern influences, reflecting the collision of cultures at the heart of the story. The composer spent months traveling through Mexico, recording regional music and collaborating with local musicians to ensure the score's authenticity. One unusual anecdote recounts how a street musician's spontaneous performance near the filming location was captured and later integrated into the soundtrack, adding a layer of immediacy and soul. The film's title itself carries a story, a metaphorical anchor that wasn't always the chosen name. Early in development, the project bore a working title that was more literal and less poetic. The eventual title emerged from a late-night brainstorming session, sparked by a line of dialogue that resonated deeply with the filmmakers. It encapsulated the shared humanity between the mother and son. It encapsulated the shared humanity between the mother and son, the invisible bond connecting them despite physical separation. This change in title marked a turning point in the film's identity, shifting its focus from the external journey to the emotional terrain beneath. Amid the many logistical and creative challenges, the production was marked by moments of unexpected serendipity. For example, during a scene meant to depict a crowded market, the filmmakers had planned a carefully choreographed sequence. However, when filming began, an unplanned power outage plunged the area into near darkness. Instead of halting production, the director chose to embrace the sudden shift. The resulting scene, bathed in flickering streetlights and shadows, took on a haunting, almost dreamlike quality that perfectly matched the boys' uncertainty and fear. These instances of happy accident highlight a key truth about filmmaking. Sometimes the strangest, most unplanned moments become the most powerful. The crew learned to trust in spontaneity, to remain open to the unpredictable, and to see each challenge as an opportunity for creativity. This attitude infused the film with a vitality that might have been impossible to script. The casting of supporting roles brought its own set of unusual stories. One actor, cast as a smuggler with a hardened exterior, was discovered in a small theater troupe performing in an unlikely venue, a community center in a forgotten part of the city. His raw intensity and authenticity impressed the filmmakers so much that they expanded his role beyond what was originally written. This decision added a darker, more complex layer to the narrative, highlighting the moral ambiguities faced by those living on the edges. On a lighter note, there were moments of levity that provided much-needed relief during the grueling schedule. The cast and crew developed their own rituals and inside jokes, one of which involved a stray cat that seemed to follow the production wherever they went. This feline mascot became a symbol of good luck, its occasional appearances captured accidentally on film, much to everyone's delight. Another intriguing behind-the-scenes detail revolves around the film's wardrobe and props. The production team went to great lengths to source clothing and objects that reflected the everyday reality of the characters. Some costumes were donated by locals, adding layers of history and authenticity to the scenes. One particularly poignant item was a well-worn toy that the young actor carried with him, which had belonged to a child in the community. This small detail enriched the character's world, grounding him in a tangible reality. The film's editing process also harbors stories of creative experimentation. The initial cut ran significantly longer, and the filmmakers faced difficult choices about which scenes to keep and which to trim. Some sequences, though beautifully shot, were cut because they slowed the narrative's emotional momentum. However, these deleted scenes have since become points of fascination among fans and scholars, offering deeper insights into character motivations and themes. There is also a curious anecdote about the film's premiere, where an unexpected technical glitch nearly overshadowed the event. The projector malfunctioned just minutes before the screening, causing a scramble among the crew to fix the issue. After a tense half-hour, the film finally began, and the audience's reaction was all the more intense for the delay. This incident became part of the film's lore, a reminder that even in moments of chaos, art finds a way to shine through. Beyond the immediate production, the film's impact rippled into real-world conversations about immigration and family. In some communities where the film screened, local organizations used it as a catalyst for discussions and support groups, transforming the story into a living dialogue about the experiences it portrayed. This unexpected social resonance added a new dimension to the film's legacy. Delving deeper into the making of the film, one uncovers the director's personal connection to the story. His own background and experiences shaped many of the film's choices, from casting to location to narrative tone. This personal stake lent the production an intimacy that is palpable on screen. The director was known for spending hours with the actors, particularly the young boy, sharing stories and building trust. This approach fostered a collaborative atmosphere where performances felt organic rather than forced. An unusual production technique involved the use of non-professional actors in key roles, a choice that enhanced the film's realism but required careful management. The crew had to balance the natural performances of these individuals with the demands of a structured shooting schedule, often improvising scenes to accommodate their rhythms. This melding of professional and non-professional talent created a dynamic energy that permeates the film. One can't overlook the subtle symbolism embedded in the film's visual language, much of which emerged during production in unexpected ways. For example, recurring shots of the moon, soft, distant, yet ever-present, were initially intended as simple establishing images. However, their emotional resonance grew through the editing process, transforming into a motif representing connection, distance, and the shared human experience beneath the same sky. There were also peculiar moments when real-life events intruded upon filming in ways that shaped the narrative texture. On one occasion, a sudden protest in a filming location brought a raw, unfiltered energy to the scenes, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. The filmmakers chose to incorporate elements of this real unrest, amplifying the story's urgency and grounding it in the social context it sought to reflect. Behind the scenes, the crew's camaraderie was punctuated by acts of kindness and solidarity, mirroring the film's themes. One story tells of a local restaurant owner who fed the cast and crew daily, refusing payment and sharing stories of her own family's journey. These real connections between the production and the communities where it was made infused the film with a spirit of shared humanity. Even the film's marketing carried echoes of its unconventional origins. Rather than relying on flashy trailers or celebrity endorsements, the campaign focused on word-of-mouth and grassroots efforts. Screenings were held in community centers and schools, often accompanied by discussions and Q&A sessions with the filmmakers and cast. This approach built a dedicated and passionate audience, drawn not just to the story but to its authentic voice. One of the stranger tales from the set involves a recurring technical glitch with the sound equipment during a critical scene. No matter how often it was repaired, a faint whisper seemed to persist on the audio track, barely audible but haunting. Some crew members joked it was a ghost, while others believed it was the spirit of the story itself, insisting on being heard. The sound was never fully explained, and it remained in the final cut, a mysterious echo that adds to the film's emotional texture. Throughout the entire production, the atmosphere was one of reverence for the story's themes and respect for the people whose lives it mirrored. The filmmakers were deeply aware that they were telling a story not just for entertainment, but for visibility, empathy, and understanding. This consciousness shaped every choice, infusing the film with a sincerity that resonates. The strangest facts about this film, then, are not just quirky anecdotes but glimpses into the alchemy of filmmaking, a blend of intention and chance, struggle and serendipity. They remind us that behind every frame is a network of lives, decisions, and moments that shape the story in ways both visible and invisible. These behind-the-scenes tales enrich our appreciation of the film, inviting us to see it not just as a finished product but as a living testament to the human spirit, made possible by countless acts of courage, kindness, and creativity. They echo the film's own themes of connection and resilience, reminding us that stories themselves are journeys, full of surprises, challenges, and unexpected beauty. There is a quiet power in storytelling when it reaches beyond mere entertainment to probe the deeper layers of human experience. This film, with its seemingly simple premise of a boy's journey to reunite with his mother, unfolds into something much richer, a nuanced exploration of identity, sacrifice, and the invisible threads that bind us across distance and hardship. To truly understand its impact, one must delve into the significant events that shape the narrative, not only as plot points but as vessels of meaning that resonate long after the screen fades to black. From the very beginning, the opening scenes establish an emotional tone that is both tender and charged with an undercurrent of tension. The portrayal of Carlitos' life with his grandmother sets the stage for the central themes: family, separation, and hope. The simplicity of these moments belies their emotional weight. They invite viewers into a world where every small gesture, a smile, a glance, a shared meal, carries profound significance. Critically, this grounding in everyday life is crucial. It humanizes the characters and creates an intimacy that draws the audience into the narrative's emotional core. These early scenes function as more than just exposition. They serve as a meditation on childhood innocence shadowed by adult realities. Carlitos's questions, his quiet observations, reveal a child caught between worlds, a liminal space where innocence brushes against the harsh truths of migration and sacrifice. This tension between hope and hardship is a persistent thread, shaping the film's emotional landscape and setting the stage for the journey ahead. The phone calls between mother and son stand out as pivotal emotional anchors. They are moments of connection across a vast, often impassable divide. Yet these scenes are layered with complexity. The conversations are tinged with both love and pain, revealing not only the bond that sustains but also the sacrifices and loneliness endured. Critically, these exchanges resist sentimentality, instead offering a raw, honest glimpse into the emotional cost of separation. The film uses these moments to underscore the dual realities faced by immigrant families: love that persists despite distance, and the aching void left behind. As the narrative propels Carlitos onto his journey northward, the film's focus shifts to the physical and emotional challenges that await. His crossing of the border is more than a geographical transition. It is a rite of passage marked by risk, uncertainty, and transformation. The scenes depicting his journey are charged with tension, crafted to immerse the viewer in the precariousness of his situation. This is where the film's critical engagement with the politics and realities of immigration becomes most palpable. The filmmakers approach these sequences with a measured realism that avoids sensationalism. The dangers Carlitos faces, from treacherous terrain to exploitative figures, are depicted with a grounded honesty that refuses to shy away from harsh truths. Yet, the film balances these moments with the boy's resilience and moments of kindness, crafting a narrative that is neither bleak nor overly romanticized. This balanced portrayal challenges simplistic narratives around immigration, inviting viewers to confront the complexity and humanity of the experience. One of the most significant events in this segment is Carlitos's encounter with a smuggler, a figure embodying the moral ambiguities and dangers lurking in the shadows. This interaction is fraught with tension and fear, yet it is not painted in black and white terms. The smuggler's character is complex, hinting at the economic and social forces that drive individuals into precarious roles. This nuance is critical. It complicates the narrative, encouraging viewers to look beyond stereotypes and recognize the layered realities of migration. Simultaneously, the film's depiction of urban spaces adds a crucial dimension to its critical perspective. The sprawling cityscape where Carlitos's mother works is portrayed not as a monolithic backdrop but as a living, breathing entity, full of contradictions, challenges, and moments of grace. This environment reflects the immigrant experience's multifaceted nature, where hope and hardship coexist. The crowded streets, the noisy restaurants, the hidden corners of community, all contribute to a textured portrayal of belonging and alienation. Rosario's character arc is deeply intertwined with these spaces. Her struggles in the city, balancing labor, fear, and hope, are portrayed with intimate detail. The film's critical lens captures the intersection of gender, class, and immigration status, highlighting how these factors shape her experience. Her story is not only one of personal sacrifice but also a commentary on systemic challenges faced by immigrant women. The scenes depicting her resilience amidst exploitation serve as quiet acts of resistance, offering a powerful statement about dignity and strength. The film's emotional resonance is heightened by its exploration of memory and longing. Carlitos's flashbacks and moments of reflection serve as more than narrative devices. They are emotional textures that deepen the story's impact. These glimpses into past moments with his mother underscore the persistent ache of separation, the simultaneous presence and absence that defines their relationship. This use of memory invites viewers to engage with the narrative on an intimate level, experiencing not just the external journey but the internal emotional terrain. Another critical event that shapes the film's emotional arc is Carlitos's illness during his journey. This moment exposes his vulnerability in stark terms, reminding the audience of the stakes involved. His sickness is more than a physical setback. It becomes a metaphor for the fragility of hope in the face of overwhelming odds. The care he receives from strangers during this period adds layers of humanity to the narrative, emphasizing themes of solidarity and kindness amidst hardship. The film's treatment of these themes resonates deeply, particularly in its refusal to offer easy resolutions. The ending, far from a neat closure, embraces ambiguity and complexity. The reunion between mother and son is charged with emotion but tempered by the awareness that their struggles are far from over. This nuanced resolution challenges traditional Hollywood endings, opting instead for a more honest reflection of real-life experiences. From a critical perspective, this choice is significant. It resists the urge to commodify hope, acknowledging that immigration and family separation are ongoing issues without simple fixes. This honesty enhances the film's impact, inviting viewers to hold space for the discomfort and uncertainty that often accompany stories of migration. The film's thematic richness extends to its exploration of identity and belonging. Carlitos' journey is not only a physical crossing but also a quest for self-understanding. The tension between his Mexican roots and his emerging experience in the United States reflects broader questions about cultural identity in a globalized world. The film subtly interrogates these themes through visual motifs, the recurring presence of the moon as a symbol of shared humanity and distance, the interplay of languages, and the contrasting landscapes. These elements contribute to the film's emotional and intellectual resonance, encouraging viewers to reflect on the porousness of borders and the complexities of home. The narrative suggests that belonging is not solely tied to geography but is woven through relationships, memories, and shared experiences. Critically, the film also engages with the politics of representation. Its commitment to authentic storytelling, casting non-professional actors, using natural locations, and incorporating bilingual dialogue, challenges mainstream cinematic conventions. This approach amplifies marginalized voices and presents immigrant experiences with dignity and nuance, contributing to broader conversations about diversity in film. The emotional depth of the film is enhanced by its use of silence and subtlety. The filmmakers often choose restraint over exposition, allowing gestures, expressions, and visual symbolism to convey meaning. This quiet storytelling invites audiences into a more immersive experience, where feeling takes precedence over explanation. For instance, moments of silence between Carlitos and his mother during phone calls speak volumes about their separation and longing. The film trusts the audience to sense the emotional weight carried in these pauses, demonstrating confidence in its narrative and viewers alike. Another significant aspect is the film's treatment of hope. Rather than presenting it as naive optimism, hope is depicted as a fragile, often painful force, a lifeline that demands courage and endurance. This nuanced portrayal resonates deeply, reflecting the lived realities of many families affected by immigration. The film's impact and reception are inseparable from these critical choices. Audiences respond not only to the narrative's emotional power, but also to its social relevance and artistic integrity. The story's ability to humanize complex issues fosters empathy and understanding, encouraging viewers to see beyond headlines and statistics to the individual lives at stake. Critics have lauded the film for its balance of realism and tenderness, its refusal to simplify difficult subjects, and its authentic performances. Its reception highlights the appetite for stories that challenge dominant narratives and offer fresh perspectives on urgent social issues. The film's emotional resonance also sparks reflection on the nature of family and sacrifice. It portrays motherhood not as an abstract ideal but as a lived experience filled with joy, pain, and relentless love. Carlitos' courage and innocence invite viewers to reconnect with the universal longing for connection and security. In the broader cultural context, the film contributes to ongoing dialogues about immigration policy, human rights, and cultural identity. It serves as a poignant reminder of the human faces behind political debates, urging compassion and awareness. The interplay between personal narrative and political reality is a defining strength. The film does not separate these realms but shows how deeply intertwined they are, how policy decisions ripple through individual lives, how personal sacrifices echo larger social dynamics. This critical perspective enriches the viewing experience, transforming the film from a simple story into a meaningful commentary. It invites repeated engagement, each viewing revealing new layers and insights. Moreover, the film's artistic choices, its use of natural light, handheld cameras, and intimate framing, enhance its themes. These techniques create a sense of immediacy and intimacy, placing viewers alongside the characters in their journey. The visual style reinforces the narrative's emotional truths, making the experience visceral and unforgettable. The sound design further contributes to this immersion. Ambient noises, the hum of the city, distant voices, the rustling of leaves, build a textured soundscape that grounds the story in reality. Music is used sparingly but effectively, underscoring key emotional beats without overwhelming the narrative. Together, these elements coalesce into a cinematic experience that is both artful and accessible, appealing to a wide audience while maintaining depth and nuance. In essence, the film's significant events are not isolated moments but parts of a carefully crafted whole. Each scene, each interaction, serves to deepen our understanding of the characters and themes. The journey is as much emotional and philosophical as it is physical. Through its critical perspective, the film invites viewers to grapple with difficult questions about identity, sacrifice, justice, and hope. It challenges us to see beyond ourselves, to recognize shared humanity across borders and circumstances. Its lasting impact lies in this invitation, an open, honest, and compassionate look at a story too often reduced to headlines. It is a testament to the power of cinema to illuminate, to empathize, and to transform. In the end, the film stands as a poignant reminder that behind every journey, every crossing, there is a story of love, loss, and unyielding hope, a story that continues beneath the same moon, uniting us all. There is a certain kind of magic that lives behind the scenes of every film, the countless hours of labor, the quiet struggles, the bursts of laughter, and the moments of serendipity that collectively breathe life into a story. This film, with its poignant narrative and deeply human themes, emerged from a production journey as rich and textured as the story it tells. The making of this movie was a delicate dance of authenticity, creativity, and grit, a process shaped by the passion and dedication of its cast and crew, who strove to honor the lived experiences that inspired it. From the earliest days of pre-production, the filmmakers were committed to grounding the story in real-world textures and emotions. The decision to shoot on location was not simply an aesthetic choice but a deliberate act of respect for the people and places that form the backdrop of the narrative. Filming took place in various locations across Mexico and the United States, capturing the dusty streets, crowded markets, and sprawling urban landscapes that Carlitos and his mother traverse. This choice brought with it logistical challenges but also a palpable authenticity that studio sets could never replicate. One of the most remarkable aspects of the production was the collaboration with local communities. The crew didn't just film in these spaces, they engaged with the people who lived there, incorporating their voices and stories into the fabric of the film. This approach fostered a sense of shared ownership and pride, transforming the production into a communal effort. In many scenes, local residents appeared as extras, their genuine reactions and presence adding a layer of realism that is difficult to manufacture. This engagement with community also brought unexpected moments of warmth and humor. The cast and crew often found themselves welcomed into local homes for meals and celebrations, where traditional dishes and stories flowed freely. These interactions created bonds that extended beyond the set, enriching the emotional landscape of the film and reminding everyone involved of the story's deeper significance. The casting process was another cornerstone of the production's authenticity. The filmmakers sought out actors who could embody the spirit of the characters with honesty and nuance. Particularly for the role of Carlitos, they cast a young boy with little formal acting experience but a natural charisma and emotional openness that proved invaluable. Working with a child actor in such a demanding role required patience and flexibility. The director and crew created a nurturing environment on set, balancing the rigors of filming with the need to preserve the boy's innocence and spontaneity. Behind the camera, the production team faced numerous technical challenges, especially given their commitment to using natural light and handheld cameras. The cinematographer embraced these constraints as creative opportunities, crafting a visual style that feels intimate and immediate. The play of sunlight and shadow across scenes mirrors the emotional contours of the story, the harshness of the journey tempered by moments of tenderness. This naturalistic approach required meticulous planning and adaptability, with the crew often racing against the changing light to capture just the right mood. weather posed its own set of challenges. Filming took place during the hot summer months, with temperatures soaring and sudden storms disrupting schedules. One memorable incident involved a rainstorm that swept through just as the crew was filming a critical outdoor scene. Instead of halting production, the director chose to incorporate the rain into the shot, enhancing the scene's emotional intensity and adding an unexpected layer of symbolism. This willingness to embrace the unpredictable became a hallmark of the production's spirit. The film's sound design and music also emerged from a deeply collaborative process. The composer traveled extensively through Mexico, recording traditional music and working with local musicians to weave authentic sounds into the score. This melding of traditional melodies with subtle modern influences creates an auditory landscape that complements the narrative's themes of migration and cultural identity. One charming anecdote recounts how a street musician's spontaneous performance near the filming location was captured on tape and later integrated into the soundtrack, lending the film a touch of organic, lived-in texture. Props and costumes were chosen with equal care. The wardrobe department sought to reflect the characters' realities through clothing that felt worn and authentic rather than polished or stylized. Many garments were sourced locally, sometimes donated by community members, imbuing scenes with a palpable sense of history and life. One small but poignant detail is a well-loved toy carried by the young actor, which was not a prop but a real object from a child in the area. This blending of fiction and reality added emotional depth to the character's world throughout production. The crew fostered a familial atmosphere on set. Long hours were often tempered by shared meals, jokes, and moments of spontaneous joy. A particular source of amusement was a stray cat that seemed to adopt the production as its own, appearing unpredictably and earning the affectionate title of mascot. This feline presence brought levity and comfort, a small reminder of life's unpredictability amidst the demanding schedule. The editing process was equally thoughtful and deliberate. The initial cut was longer and included several scenes that, while beautifully filmed, were ultimately trimmed to preserve the story's emotional pacing. These deleted scenes, some of which have since been made available as extras, offer fascinating glimpses into character backstories and thematic explorations that enrich the film's universe. The editors worked closely with the director to ensure that every frame contributed to the narrative's intimate tone and thematic coherence. An interesting behind-the-scenes story involves the film's title, which was not settled upon until late in production. Early drafts bore a more literal name, but during a late-night discussion, the filmmakers gravitated towards a title that encapsulated the emotional heart of the story, the invisible bond that connects mother and son despite miles and obstacles. This shift in title marked a creative turning point, aligning the film's identity with its deeper themes of connection and shared humanity. The premiere of the film was marked by a minor technical hiccup that nearly overshadowed the event. Moments before the screening, a projector malfunction delayed the start, causing a scramble among the technical team. The tension gave way to laughter and relief once the film finally began, and the audience's warm reception was all the more heartfelt for the brief suspense. This incident has since become a beloved part of the film's lore, a reminder that even in moments of chaos, art finds its way. Marketing the film followed an unconventional path. Rather than relying on flashy advertising or celebrity endorsements, the team focused on grassroots outreach. Screenings were organized in community centers, schools, and cultural festivals, often accompanied by discussions with the filmmakers and cast. This approach fostered a passionate and engaged audience, drawn not only to the story but to its authentic voice and social relevance. One of the more curious technical quirks encountered during production involved a persistent audio anomaly, a faint whisper captured during a critical scene that no amount of editing could fully remove. Crew members joked about the ghost in the machine, speculating that it was the spirit of the story insisting on being heard. Rather than removing the sound, the director chose to leave it in, embracing the mystery and allowing it to add an eerie, emotional texture to the scene. Throughout filming, the director's personal connection to the story shaped many creative choices. Drawing from his own background and experiences, he fostered a collaborative and empathetic environment, particularly for the young actor playing Carlitos. Long hours were spent building trust and encouraging improvisation, allowing performances to emerge naturally. This approach infused the film with a warmth and honesty that resonate deeply. The use of non-professional actors in key roles was both a risk and a triumph. Their authentic presence enhanced the film's realism, though it required flexibility in scheduling and shooting. Improvised moments were often woven seamlessly into the scripted narrative, enriching the emotional tapestry and grounding the story in lived experience. Symbolism arose organically throughout production. For instance, the recurring shots of the moon, initially simple establishing images, evolved into a powerful motif representing connection and distance. The moon's quiet, constant presence mirrored the invisible thread linking mother and son, a visual metaphor that gained emotional weight as the story unfolded. Real-world events sometimes intersected with filming in unexpected ways. On one occasion, a spontaneous protest near a shooting location injected raw energy into scenes depicting social unrest. The filmmakers chose to incorporate these elements, blurring the lines between fiction and reality and amplifying the story's urgency and relevance. Acts of kindness on set reflected the film's themes of solidarity and compassion. A local restaurant owner, moved by the story, provided daily meals free of charge, sharing her own family's experiences and creating a sense of community that transcended the production. These real-life connections infused the film with an additional layer of humanity. Marketing efforts continued this spirit of community engagement, emphasizing dialogue and awareness over commercial spectacle. The film screenings often served as catalysts for conversations about immigration, family separation, and cultural identity, transforming the cinematic experience into a platform for social reflection. Through these behind-the-scenes stories, one glimpses the heart of the production, a collective endeavor driven by passion, respect, and a shared commitment to telling a story that matters. The filmmaking process, with all its challenges and surprises, became an extension of the narrative's themes, embodying resilience, hope, and the power of human connection. These production insights and fun facts enrich our understanding of the film, revealing the layers of care and creativity that shape every frame. They remind us that storytelling is not merely an act of creation but a journey marked by collaboration, chance, and the unyielding belief in the stories that need to be told. The world this story unfolds within is a place alive with contrasts. Dusty sun-baked streets bathed in golden light, crowded urban alleys humming with restless energy, and quiet, intimate spaces where time seems to slow. From the very first frame, the setting becomes more than just a backdrop. It breathes and pulses, a living, breathing character woven tightly into the narrative's emotional fabric. It is a world that shapes the journey, mirrors the character's inner struggles, and casts a spell that lingers long after the story's end. The film opens in a small town in Mexico, a place where the relentless sun scorches the earth, and life moves with the slow rhythm of tradition and memory. This town is rendered with a careful eye for detail. The cracked sidewalks, the faded walls of adobe houses, the smell of tortillas fresh off the griddle, and the distant hum of a marketplace. It is a place where history and hardship coexist, where the echoes of generations past settle like dust over the present. The camera lingers on these textures, inviting the audience to immerse themselves in a landscape both beautiful and worn. This setting does more than establish geography. It frames the emotional world of Carlitos. The town is both sanctuary and cage, a place of love and security found in his grandmother's arms, but also a place marked by absence, by the empty space left by his mother's departure. The sun-drenched streets and open skies contrast with the boy's yearning and isolation, creating a tension that quietly pervades the early scenes. The vastness of the landscape underscores his smallness, his vulnerability, but also the boundless hope he carries within. As Carlitos embarks on his journey north, the film's settings shift dramatically, reflecting the narrative's movement from the intimate to the vast, from the familiar to the unknown. The camera follows him through sprawling borderlands, places where the physical terrain mirrors the emotional and social divides the story explores. Here, deserts stretch wide and unforgiving, heat ripples off the ground, and the horizon seems endless and elusive. The harsh beauty of these landscapes embodies the peril and uncertainty of Carlitos's quest. These borderlands are portrayed with a mixture of stark realism and poetic subtlety. Dust kicks up in swirling eddies, sun-bleached rocks gleam under the harsh light, and occasional signs of human life, a faded tire, a distant figure, punctuate the vastness. The cinematography captures these details with a quiet reverence, acknowledging both the landscape's harshness and its haunting allure. This setting becomes a crucible, testing the boy's resilience and determination, while also symbolizing the larger forces that shape his journey. Crossing into the United States, the setting morphs again, this time into the sprawling, chaotic urban environment where his mother works. The city is alive with noise and motion, the chatter of crowded buses, the clatter of dishes in a busy restaurant kitchen, the flashing neon signs illuminating night streets. It is a world brimming with possibility but also fraught with invisibility and danger. Here, the architecture is dense and layered, apartment blocks pressed close together, graffiti-streaked walls, narrow alleys teeming with life. The cityscape serves as a counterpoint to the earlier rural and border settings. Its claustrophobic energy contrasts with the open expanses Carlitos crossed, mirroring the constriction and complexity of his mother's life. The urban environment is depicted with gritty authenticity, capturing the textures and rhythms of immigrant neighborhoods. It is a place of contradictions, vibrancy and vulnerability, community and isolation. The setting amplifies the emotional stakes, underscoring the challenges Rosario faces as she navigates this new world while holding onto the hope of reunion. Throughout these varied settings, the film's cinematography plays a crucial role in shaping mood and tone. The visual language is intimate and immersive, often employing handheld cameras that move with the characters, creating a sense of immediacy and closeness. This approach allows the audience to see the world through Carlitos's eyes, to experience the textures and sensations of his journey firsthand. The camera lingers on small details, the curve of a child's hand, the play of light on cracked pavement, the shimmer of heat, each shot carefully composed to evoke emotion and meaning. Natural light is a hallmark of the film's visual style. The cinematographer embraces the shifting qualities of daylight, soft mornings, harsh noons, glowing dusks, using them to reflect the narrative's emotional rhythms. Sunlight filters through trees, casting dappled shadows that suggest moments of fleeting safety and warmth. In contrast, the harsh glare of midday becomes a metaphor for exposure and vulnerability. Night scenes are suffused with muted colors and deep shadows, enveloping characters in mystery and tension. Color palette is another subtle yet powerful tool the filmmakers wield to enhance atmosphere. Early scenes in Mexico are suffused with warm earth tones, ochres, terracottas, dusty reds, that evoke the heat and history of the landscape. These hues create a sense of grounding and familiarity, even as they underscore the hardships endured. As the journey progresses, cooler tones and grays infiltrate the palette, especially in urban settings, signaling the emotional and physical distance from home. The film's visual storytelling often relies on contrasts, the interplay of light and shadow, the juxtaposition of vast open spaces and confined interiors, to mirror the characters' internal conflicts. For example, moments of solitude are frequently framed against wide, open skies, emphasizing loneliness and longing. In contrast, scenes of community or danger are often set within cramped, shadowed spaces, highlighting tension and intimacy. Framing and composition also contribute to the narrative's emotional texture. The filmmakers frequently use close-ups to capture subtle expressions and unspoken feelings, inviting viewers to inhabit the characters' inner worlds. Wide shots, meanwhile, situate these intimate moments within broader social and physical contexts, reminding us of the larger forces at play. This oscillation between the personal and the expansive reinforces the story's themes of connection and displacement. Sound design complements the visual elements, enhancing the sense of place and mood. Ambient noises, the rustle of wind, distant voices, the clatter of city life, are woven seamlessly into the soundscape, anchoring scenes in reality. The occasional swell of music underscores emotional peaks without overwhelming the naturalistic tone. This careful balance of sound and silence creates an immersive atmosphere that pulls the audience deeper into the story. The filmmakers also employ recurring visual motifs that enrich the narrative's symbolism. One of the most poignant is the moon, which appears in various guises, rising over deserts, glowing above city rooftops, a distant witness to the character's journey. This celestial presence serves as a metaphor for the unseen connections between mother and son, a quiet reminder that though separated by miles, they share the same sky. The moon's gentle glow contrasts with the harshness of their worlds, suggesting hope and constancy amid uncertainty. Water, too, emerges as a subtle motif, whether in the form of rain, rivers, or the glint of a puddle. It represents both cleansing and passage, reflecting the character's emotional states and transitions. Scenes where water appears often coincide with moments of vulnerability, change, or renewal, adding depth to the visual storytelling. The film's pacing and rhythm are supported by its visual design. Longer, lingering shots allow emotions to breathe, inviting contemplation and empathy. Quicker cuts during moments of tension propel the narrative forward, conveying urgency and danger. This dynamic use of pacing helps maintain emotional engagement while underscoring the story's shifting tones. Lighting techniques also play a crucial role in shaping mood. Soft, diffused light often bathes scenes of warmth and connection, such as moments between Carlitos and his grandmother or mother. In contrast, harsher, directional lighting is used to heighten tension during scenes of danger or uncertainty. The interplay of light and darkness becomes a visual metaphor for the characters' emotional journeys, moments of clarity and hope emerging from shadows of fear and doubt. The film's mise-en-scene, the careful arrangement of objects, costumes, and actors within the frame, contributes to world-building and emotional resonance. Everyday items, a worn photograph, a cracked phone, a small toy, are imbued with significance, anchoring the narrative in tangible reality. The cluttered interiors and bustling streetscape reflect the characters' lived experiences, their joys and struggles etched into the very fabric of their surroundings. Costuming furthers this authenticity. Clothing is chosen not for glamour but for verisimilitude, reflecting characters' socio-economic realities and cultural identities. The faded fabrics, worn shoes, and simple garments speak volumes about their lives, enhancing the narrative's grounding in real-world experiences. The spatial relationships captured on screen also serve the story's emotional arc. Scenes where characters are framed at a distance, isolated within vast spaces, convey feelings of loneliness and separation. Conversely, tight framing in crowded settings evokes claustrophobia or intimacy, depending on context. These visual choices deepen our understanding of character psychology without the need for explicit dialogue. The film's use of color grading subtly shifts throughout, mirroring emotional transitions. Warm tones dominate moments of safety and familial love, while cooler, muted hues underscore hardship and alienation. This chromatic journey guides viewers through the narrative's emotional landscape, often in ways felt rather than consciously noticed. The combination of these cinematic elements creates an immersive experience that is both visceral and poetic. The audience is invited to feel the heat of the sun, the dust on the skin, the pulse of the city, and the quiet ache of separation. The film's settings are not mere places but emotional landscapes, shaping and reflecting the characters' inner lives. Ultimately, the careful crafting of setting and cinematic language elevates the film beyond a simple tale of migration and reunion. It becomes a sensory journey, a meditation on home, displacement, and the enduring ties that bind us. The visual poetry woven through every scene transforms the story into an experience that resonates on both emotional and intellectual levels. The interplay of light and shadow, vast landscapes and cramped interiors, natural and urban environments, all serve to embody the story's core tensions and hopes. Through this rich cinematic tapestry, viewers are not only witnesses to a journey but participants in its emotional truths. In this way, the film achieves a delicate balance, rooted in realism yet suffused with lyricism, intimate yet expansive, grounded yet universal. The settings and cinematic elements do not merely support the narrative, they become its soul, inviting us beneath the surface to experience the story's heart and its quiet, unyielding humanity. Behind the polished surface of every film lies a world brimming with untold stories. The laughter, the challenges, the moments of connection and frustration that shape the process of creation. This film, with its tender portrayal of love and resilience across borders, was no exception. Its production was a tapestry woven from the dedication of a diverse cast and crew, the unpredictable dance with weather and circumstance, and the small, surprising moments that became part of the story's soul. To truly appreciate the film, one must step beyond the screen and into the vibrant, often chaotic world behind the scenes. From the earliest days of filming, the atmosphere on set was charged with a mixture of excitement and careful intention. The filmmakers were deeply committed to authenticity, and this commitment permeated every aspect of production. Shooting on location in real neighborhoods, both in Mexico and in the United States, brought a vivid immediacy to the film but also introduced a host of logistical and emotional complexities. One of the most memorable stories from the set involves the young actor who portrayed Carlitos. Cast for his natural innocence and expressive eyes, he was new to the world of filmmaking. This fresh perspective brought a spontaneity and truth to his performance but also required a delicate balance from the director and crew. Patience became the watchword, as they learned to work with his rhythms, allowing moments of distraction, a stray dog, a colorful bird, to become part of the day's narrative rather than interruptions. There was a particular scene where Carlitos was supposed to deliver a heartfelt line, but he became fascinated by a butterfly fluttering nearby. Rather than insist on retakes, the director encouraged the crew to capture his genuine reaction. That unscripted moment, filled with childlike wonder, was later woven into the final cut, becoming a poignant reminder of innocence amid adversity. The relationship between the young actor and a particular crew member, who took on a role part guardian, part friend, was crucial. This crew member stayed close throughout filming, providing comfort and guidance. Their bond extended beyond the set, offering the boy a sense of stability amid the whirlwind of production. This real-life connection infused the scenes with an added layer of emotional authenticity. Interactions among the cast and crew were often warm and familial, despite the sometimes grueling schedule. Long days of shooting in the hot sun were punctuated by shared meals, laughter, and impromptu music sessions. The crew learned to rely on each other, forming a tight-knit community bound by a shared sense of purpose. One amusing anecdote recalls a local stray cat that seemed to claim the set as its own, appearing unexpectedly during scenes and earning the affectionate nickname, Mascot. Its unpredictable appearances brought smiles and brief relief from the intensity of shooting. Filming on location posed numerous challenges. Weather was a constant wild card. Heat waves, sudden storms, and shifting light all threatened to derail carefully laid plans. On one occasion, a crucial outdoor scene had to be postponed repeatedly due to an unrelenting rainstorm. The crew took shelter in a nearby building, passing time with storytelling and music. When the skies finally cleared, the director seized the opportunity to film the scene with wet streets glistening under the golden light, adding a layer of atmospheric depth that became iconic. The use of natural light, while essential to the film's aesthetic, demanded flexibility and creativity from the cinematographer and crew. Early mornings and late afternoons became prime shooting times, with the team racing to capture fleeting moments of perfect light. The camera's handheld style required careful choreography, balancing the need for fluidity with technical precision. These challenges fostered a spirit of collaboration, with everyone, from grips to actors, working in concert to achieve the desired emotional tone-language barriers occasionally complicated communication, especially with local extras and non-professional actors. To bridge gaps, the crew employed translators and cultural liaisons, ensuring that everyone felt included and understood. This effort was more than practical. It was a gesture of respect that helped build trust and openness on set. One of the more unexpected challenges involved coordinating scenes that took place near active border crossings. The sensitive nature of these locations required negotiations with local authorities and communities, balancing the need for authenticity with safety and respect. These logistics sometimes caused delays but also deepened the filmmakers' appreciation for the real-life complexities surrounding their story. The casting of supporting roles brought its own surprises. Several key actors were discovered in unconventional ways, one found performing in a small community theater, another through informal auditions held in neighborhood centers. Their genuine connection to the story's themes enriched their performances and added layers of texture to the film. One actor, initially cast in a minor role, impressed the director so much that his part was expanded, providing a nuanced portrayal of the moral ambiguities faced by those living on society's margins. Behind the scenes, improvisation became a valuable tool. The filmmakers often encouraged actors to explore their characters in unscripted moments, capturing raw emotions and spontaneous interactions. These glimpses into real human behavior lent the film a lived-in quality that resonates deeply. In one notable scene, a conversation between Carlitos and a stranger was largely improvised, resulting in a tender, authentic exchange that highlights themes of trust and kindness. Separation and longing form another profound thematic current. The pain of being apart, the yearning to bridge physical and emotional distances, permeate the story. The film explores these feelings with a nuanced sensitivity, showing how absence shapes identity and experience. Separation is not merely a physical condition but an emotional landscape that affects every relationship and choice. The boy's memories, the mother's solitary moments, the silent spaces between phone calls, all convey this aching sense of loss and desire. The theme of migration itself is woven throughout, not just as a plot device but as a lens on broader social and human realities. The film portrays migration as a complex journey, fraught with danger, uncertainty, and hope. It refuses simplistic narratives of victimhood or triumph, instead presenting migration as a lived experience shaped by systemic forces and individual courage. Through the boy's journey and the mother's life in a foreign land, the film humanizes a political issue, inviting empathy and reflection. Embedded within these themes is the exploration of identity and belonging. The characters grapple with questions of home and self, what it means to belong to a place, a culture, a family. The boy straddles two worlds, rooted in his Mexican heritage but drawn toward a future in the United States. This tension reflects the broader immigrant experience, where identity is fluid and multifaceted. The film captures this complexity, showing how belonging is shaped by memory, language, and relationships rather than mere geography. Symbolism enriches these themes, adding layers of meaning that deepen the narrative's emotional and intellectual impact. One of the most potent symbols is the moon, a recurring visual motif that appears in various scenes, often bathed in soft light or silhouetted against the night sky. The moon serves as a metaphor for the unseen bond between mother and son, a silent witness to their separation and shared hope. Its constancy amidst changing landscapes suggests that despite distance and hardship, they remain connected beneath the same sky. Water is another evocative symbol threaded through the film. Rain, rivers, and puddles appear at moments of transition and emotion, representing cleansing, renewal, and passage. Water's fluidity contrasts with the harshness of the physical and emotional terrain the characters traverse, offering a visual metaphor for transformation and the possibility of new beginnings. Scenes where water glistens or flows often coincide with moments of vulnerability or change, underscoring the characters' inner journeys. The film also uses light and shadow symbolically. Natural light, warm, golden, and shifting, reflects moments of hope, safety, and connection. In contrast, shadows and darkness embody uncertainty, danger, and isolation. This interplay shapes the film's mood and underscores the emotional stakes. Characters move through spaces bathed alternately in light and shadow, mirroring their own oscillations between hope and fear, presence and absence. Objects within the narrative carry symbolic weight as well. A worn photograph, a small toy, a cracked phone become tangible links between characters and memories, physical manifestations of connection across distance. These items ground the story's emotional themes in concrete reality, reminding viewers that love and longing often reside in the smallest things. The journey itself operates as a symbol, a rite of passage and a metaphor for growth, struggle, and transformation. The boy's physical crossing of borders parallels his emotional crossing from innocence to experience. This journey embodies universal themes of human striving and resilience, making the story both specific and universal. Each of these symbols is carefully interwoven with the plot and character arcs, enhancing the story's resonance. The moon's presence during moments of separation or reunion highlights the emotional significance of distance and connection. Water's appearances mark turning points, reflecting changes in the character's circumstances and states of mind. Light and shadow track the shifting moods and tensions, guiding the audience's emotional journey. The film's thematic and symbolic richness invites viewers to engage deeply with the narrative, to reflect on the complexities of love, sacrifice, and identity. These elements elevate the story beyond a simple tale of migration and reunion, transforming it into a meditation on the human condition. The characters' experiences embody these themes in vivid ways. The mother's sacrifices and steadfast love personify the resilience and hope that sustain families amid separation. The boy's courage and vulnerability illustrate the cost and strength inherent in such journeys. Their intertwined stories reveal the profound emotional landscapes shaped by distance and longing. Themes of family, sacrifice, hope, and identity resonate universally, allowing the film to transcend its specific cultural context. Audiences connect not only with the characters' circumstances but with the emotions and questions they evoke, what it means to belong, to endure, to love across divides. Symbolism enriches this connection by providing visual and narrative touchstones that deepen understanding and emotional impact. The moon, water, light, and objects become more than motifs. They are languages of feeling and meaning that invite contemplation. Together, themes and symbolism create a layered, evocative narrative that honors the complexities of its subject. They reveal a story not just of separation and reunion but of the enduring human spirit, its capacity to hope, to endure, and to find connection even under the most challenging circumstances. This profound thematic exploration is part of what gives the film its lasting power. It invites viewers to look beyond the surface, to recognize shared humanity in stories often overshadowed by politics and headlines. Through its careful weaving of theme and symbol, the film offers a compassionate, honest portrait of love and resilience, one that lingers in the heart long after the story ends. The art of filmmaking is a delicate dance, a symphony of choices that blend visuals, sound, rhythm, and emotion to create a world the audience can inhabit. In this film, every technique employed serves a purpose beyond mere aesthetics. The filmmakers crafted an experience that is both intimate and expansive, capturing the rawness of a child's journey and the sweeping emotional landscapes that define it. The techniques used are subtle yet powerful, shaping the film's atmosphere and drawing viewers deeply into its heart.